Torah Life Ministries come out of the world. Messiah people seek the truth.
All right, everybody, here we are in Waynesville, Georgia, and we have some of our friends. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
I'm Sandra Jacobs.
And I'm Chet Jacobs.
Great. And you run the Hebraic Roots Assembly out here in Waynesville, Georgia.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that for?
We started in right at the end of 1999. So we've been running out for a little over 15 years.
And how long before you got to the understanding of Torah did you create this community here?
Oh, this
5
was
years.
afterwards. We home group. We got together. We started studying and doing studying Torah and learning Torah, and we home group for quite 4 or 5 years until we finally put up a building and had a place of our own without having to borrow churches and pavilions, whatever we could get to.
Sure.
Have
And
assembly.
what was your backgrounds growing up in terms of your beliefs?
I was raised Pentecost.
Mhm.
I was pretty much always in Church of God.
And I had Baptist
Okay.
background.
Very well.
Very
Very well.
different.
Now, did you both discover Torah at the same time, or was one of you before the other?
It was me first. Me first. I got a hold of Lou White's book, and when I was reading Lou White's book, Fossilized Customs, I realized there was quite a few things that was really out of order, and I started searching and digging and doing research on some of the topics and finding out that I needed to change. And it didn't take me instantly. When I got it, I was ready to change.
And when you presented it, to you, how did you feel about it?
I didn't accept it because I was just hearing from him instead of reading for myself. And it was right at the holiday season, Christmas. And so I told him after the holidays that I would, read the book and I would start, look it up for myself. And so I was very rebellious about it at first and very unhappy about it. But in a few months, then a little while after the holidays, he reminded me that I had promised that I would read the book. So I did, and I researched for myself and was convinced that we needed to change. And so probably it was about maybe a couple of months difference, but it's very challenging for those couple of months. Yeah.
And how'd your Christian friends that you knew, both of you, how'd they take these changes?
Oh,
Not well.
pretty much ostracized.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much put out. They're not ready. There were only a few that we have actually got to follow with us and believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Or even talk with us about it. Several of friends and acquaintances, I would say even more than just friends, that were believers, just really didn't want to talk to us about it. Once they saw that we had made this kind of change, they just really didn't want to talk about it anymore. So.
And at that time, were you part of a Christian church?
Yes.
Yes.
In our community.
Yes.
Now, did you? How did church treat you? Did you present it to them, or did you just leave and not say anything? How'd that happen?
Yes. Presented it to my pastor multiple times, and it finally got that we had a personal meeting one-on-one with each other, and I was asked to leave.
Did you offer him the book, Lou White's book, to research for himself?
I offered him quite a few things of research and literature, and even simple encyclopedias to look up just some simple things of Sabbath and Christmas and Easter. I said, just look at the encyclopedia itself and just read what it says about it.
And he wasn't willing to look.
No.
And how many years had you been going to that church?
12 years.
12 years.
I taught Sunday school for 12 years.
We were both Sunday school teachers.
And then they asked you to leave because your beliefs changed.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, when our pastor would go out of the country, like he went to Africa sometime, a place like that, when he left, he would leave Chet to be the one to speak and to kind of keep things running somewhat until he got back. And so he was really concerned that people would follow. I believe that they would follow Chet, and he was very concerned about that, that would cause a split with the church, which it probably would have.
Sure. And did some people in the church, did they all completely ignore you, or did some people actually research this and
None of them. None of them really. I don't know if any came out of church with us. No one came with us.
No, not from the church.
But now you have a whole new family, a Torah
That's right.
family.
That's right.
But we have stayed in connection with a lot of those that were in the church with us, and they really, a lot of them are just people that live in the country, and they don't do a lot of research for themselves. They try to be good, upstanding people, but they didn't do a lot of research for themselves. So when the pastor, explained that what we were doing in his way of understanding that, then they thought we had kind of really went the wrong way or whatever. But I thank the Father that in time we've stayed friendly with some of them through the years, and they've seen what we've walked out, and the honor and respect has, I felt like have came back. So
Sure.
I'm very thankful for that.
And how would you compare your Torah lifestyle now to your Christian lifestyle before? In terms of, your connection with Yahweh and
Oh, it's changing status. It's a status that's he expects more of you. He expects you to live holy, be clean, do away with the unclean things, and live a life true unto Him with a pure heart. It's not that you can go and play with the world today and then go to church Sunday and hit the altar and repent over things and come back and just flip-flop as if you're floundering all over the world. He who's tossed to and fro, he's not worth nothing. And He expects you to be a pure and holy people, and He expects you to live the life. If you're going to talk the talk, you walk the walk. It's got to be a halakha unto you. It's got to be a lifestyle.
Now, before you read Lou's book, when you were going to the Christian church, if somebody would have presented to both of you, this information, how do you think you would have responded back then?
I'm not sure. It would have been, I would have probably been curious and would have wanted to check out some references and stuff, but I'm really not sure. And that's understanding that is knowing that Yahweh is the one that's done this. It's not, he chose me. I didn't, He chose. And when He opened my eyes and removed the scales from my eyes and said, it's time for you to see, well, then there it happens. And now it's my choice. Now, do I want to live it? Do I really want to be His servant? Do I really want to be a vessel that He can use? Or do I still want to play in the world? It's my choice now. I lay it before you today, life or death. You choose. And I choose life.
Very good. And how about you? Would you have felt concerned for that person if they would have told you that the things that you know now, if when you were a Christian, or how would you have felt about it?
It would have probably been very hard for me to accept it just from someone talking to me about it, because like I said, it was very hard for me to accept with my husband, who I respect, talking to me about it. So, and there's something about reading things and getting understanding for yourself. I think it goes a little deeper than someone just sharing with you. That may stimulate you, but then, I feel like I would have had a hard time. I would have been just like a lot of those people are when we start trying to talk and share with them. So,
but at the same time, you would have been open to researching it, or no?
I would have to be honest. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
Because my husband pushed me a lot. And if I would have just been in a conversation with someone, I really don't know.
Okay, so you can understand the reaction that
Yes,
they had.
very much
Okay,
so.
great.
Yes.
And now, from the spiritual side of things, Chet, you were telling me an amazing story you had in a prison ministry, with the Spirit moving you to do something pretty spectacular. And do you see in the Torah world something like that missing? Can you explain what happened, and just how do you equate that to what's happening in a church versus the teaching of Torah? Do you think?
No, I think the same. Yahweh's the same today, yesterday, and forevermore. And I do think what the problem is that when we come into Torah, we get so caught up in the knowledge thereof, till we start losing bounds with the spiritual realm, because we feel like we've made so many mistakes. There's been so much that we've been defiled of deceptions, that now we're so careful that we put a border and we actually quench the Spirit, not allowing the Spirit to move in us, because Yahweh He still heals. He still restores life. He still mends bones, casts cancers off of people, and I mean, just whatever. If you can believe and ask in the truth of His name, it shall be done. That's His promise. And I still believe these things to this day. And I know that He still works with His people, and He's promised us that He has come to heal us, and that these sicknesses and disease that you knew from Egypt, they'll not be upon you. I'll cleanse you from these things. I'll take you away. And so today, a lot of our spiritual concept of relationship with Him, we've let get interceded or interrupted through our searching so hard for knowledge now that we felt like we were deceived. And it's time now, I do believe with all my heart, it's time that Yah is restoring the Spirit back to us. He's restoring, we've got the knowledge now, we've got the understanding, we've made mistakes, we've repented, we've come into learning the instruction. Now let's get back into the spiritual realm. He said, "For you shall worship me in spirit and in truth." So both are very important. It's very important that we worship Him with all our heart and with all the strength that's within us. And it's also important that we study His Torah and learn the instructions.
Sure. And if there's a woman out there whose husband's presenting this to them and they're not sure about it, what suggestion or advice would you have for that wife?
To look for themselves. I think this is something that's very important, and even being respectful to our husbands, but to search out the truth for ourselves. And that's what I would tell anyone, because that's what I had to do. I couldn't just take it even on this was something that was so deep that I couldn't just take it on my husband's word. Like I said, we've been married 40 years now, and I respect his decisions and what he does a lot. But when this came, it was so detrimental and life-changing and different from everything that was familiar to me in my whole life, that I had to search that out and get the truth for myself. And I think that's with anyone, to be really, I don't even know the word for it, but to be really enwrap something, and for it to become yours, you need to really know that you know, and to research that for yourself. I think it's the only way that you're going to really believe that.
And Chet, your wife, the scales were lifted from her eyes and she saw this. What would you recommend to husbands who present this to their wife, but the wife doesn't see this? How would you suggest that they approach that situation?
Gently, be kind, be long-suffering, and just give them time. Pray for them. Pray that y'all and then try to share what you can gently. Don't force it. Don't force it. Let Yah do the work. It's His work.
Great. And for people that want to know more about your community, could you give us your website or your address or your contact information?
We're Gahal Shakah. We're in Waynesville, Georgia. And as far as all the computer stuff, I'm absolutely computer illiterate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do computers at all. So you'd have to get a hold of some of our younger generation here. They take care of all that.
I'll put your website and your address and your phone number below the video here.
Okay.
So people can contact you. And you're 1 hour north of Jacksonville.
Correct.
And about an hour and a half from Savannah.
Yes.
And you're in the southern Georgia area. And a beautiful property here. And thank you for having me come out to speak. And I definitely recommend people come visit you when they're in the area.
And they're always welcome. We have an open door. We start at 1 p.m. on the Sabbath, and we go for the whole day. So anyone that would love to come, we'd love to have you. And just come in and stay as long as you can and enjoy and receive good things the Father has for us.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both very much.
Thank you.